Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into a story that feels, well, like it's pulled straight from ancient history, but aims squarely at a very modern future.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's not just, a state tweaking its economy.
No, it feels bigger, like reviving a whole forgotten identity. We're looking at Odisha and its, frankly, incredibly ambitious plan to reclaim its maritime glory.
And what we've got here is quite a collection of material reports, insights, articles laying out exactly how they plan to pull this off. The policies, the big money involved, the strategic pivots.
And the challenges, let's not forget those.
Oh, absolutely. The significant hurdles they absolutely have to clear. It's really interesting to see a state maybe better known for mines and agriculture suddenly putting its coastline front and center.
So our mission in this deep dive is, well, pretty straightforward but important. Get to the heart of these sources, understand the vision, grasp the details, and sort of connect the dots between Odisha's deep past and where it wants to go now.
Right. Think of it as exploring the blueprint for a major economic and I'd say cultural revival.
Okay, so where do we start? The history seems crucial here.
You really can't understand where Odisha is heading without appreciating where it's been. I mean, this is the land of the ancient kingdom of Kalinga.
A name that just shouts maritime power, doesn't it?
Exactly. Its sailors, the legendary Sahaba, weren't just sticking close to shore. These guys were sort of the pioneers of their time, venturing all the way to Southeast Asia.
Wow. Trading what? Spices?
Spices, textiles, yeah, but also just exchanging stories, culture. They were the connectors across the waves.
And it's amazing that connection isn't totally lost. I mean, you still see it, right?
Yeah.
At the Balijatra festival in Cuttack.
Oh, vividly. Right there on the Mahanadi River, people launch these little miniature boats.
Mm.
It's this incredible living celebration that links directly back to that seafaring heritage.
It feels like more than just a festival, like a collective remembering.
It really is. But let's be honest, for a long stretch, that maritime prowess, well, it kind of gathered barnacles, didn't it?
Yeah, the focus shifted.
We've seen the economy lean heavily on mining, agriculture, and apart from Paradip Port, which is a big deal today,
Right, a major player.
many other coastal areas, potential ports, they just remained underutilized. That amazing 480-kilometer coastline was largely just, well, sitting there.
Okay, so that sets the stage for the comeback.
Yeah.
And the big launchpad event seems to be this Utkarsh Odisha Conclave.
Definitely. The Make in Odisha Conclave 2025, that was the cornerstone. It wasn't some small affair. This was January 28th and 29th in Bhubaneswar.
And it felt like a global statement.
The guest list tells you everything. You have Prime Minister Modi, sure, but also global investors pouring in from 12 countries, delegates from 20 nations. This wasn't just talk. It was about making deals.
And the deals were huge. Over 100 investors signing MOUs worth, what was it, 5 lakh crore?
That's the number, which translates to roughly 60 billion US dollars. It's a staggering amount.
But the really interesting part, for me, is where that money's going. Not just the usual suspects like steel and coal.
Exactly. There's a deliberate, really strong push into new age sectors, renewable energy, textiles, chemicals, food processing. It signals they're casting a much wider net, trying to build a more diverse economic identity, looking for global partners.
And the conclave itself sounded pretty intense, packed schedule.
Yeah, 10 specific sectoral sessions, 4 roundtable conferences focusing on different things, and a massive expo with 150 exhibitors showcasing what's possible.
I really like the inclusivity aspect. They made a point of recognizing small businesses, right?
They did. 60 micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs, MSMEs, 2 from each district. That's really connecting it to the grassroots level.
Plus highlighting women entrepreneurs under that Subhadra scheme. Giving specific support to women-led businesses shows, a real commitment to broader growth.
And this conclave, it wasn't just a one-off moment. It fits into this much bigger, longer-term strategy. We're talking Vision Odisha 2036 and 2047.
2036. That's the state centenary, isn't it? Was the headline goal.
Aiming for a $500 billion economy by then. And what's neat is how they crafted this vision, apparently with input from over 3 lakh public suggestions. They even used AI in formulating it.
Wow. And the focus.
It seems dual, lifting the very bottom rung of society while also pushing the state into the top 5 economies in India. Ambitious.
And they've got some political tailwind too, haven't they? With a national focus on Eastern India.
Absolutely. PM Modi's Purvogdaya vision, aimed specifically at boosting Eastern India, provides strong policy alignment and potential backing for exactly these kinds of plans.
Okay, so the vision is there, the money's potentially there. How do they actually make it happen on the ground? It starts with the coast, right?
It really does. That 480-kilometer coastline, that's their golden ticket, you could say. It's the physical launch pad for all of this.
And the plan is heavy on ports, upgrading the big one.
Yes, prioritizing massive upgrades for Paradip, Gopalpur, and Dhamra. The goal isn't just handling more cargo, though that's key. It's about transforming them to handle cruise ships, too.
So positioning Odisha as a gateway, not just for goods, but for people, too.
Exactly. A major gateway for trade and tourism for the whole eastern region, potentially.
And the chief minister was out there pushing this.
Yeah, Mohan Majhi. He was at the Waves 2025 summit in Mumbai. That's a big maritime sector event, talking directly to industry heavyweights. Tata Steel, Jain Irrigation, Wary Group.
Yeah, he had that slogan.
This is the time, the right time. Simple, direct, gets the message across.
But okay, slogans and MOUs are one thing. Actually getting projects built is another. Bureaucracy has been a killer in the past, right?
Yeah.
That 20% figure.
Right. Only about 20% of approved projects actually materialized historically. Tangled in red tape, local opposition sometimes, it's a huge problem.
So what's the fix?
Well, the big push is for a single window clearance system. The idea is to streamline everything, consolidate permits, cut through that historical red tape, make it much, much easier for investors to, actually build things.
Makes sense. And they've got target industries for this smoother process.
Clear targets, food processing, renewable energy, petrochemicals. But don't count out the traditional giants. They're still attracting huge interest there, too.
Like Nippon Steel.
Nippon Steel Corporation planning what could be the world's largest steel plant, 30 million tons. That's massive.
And they're not the only ones.
No, the Russian company Magnitogorsk Iron and Steel is also looking at a big 10 million ton plant. It seems like Odisha's steel sector is about to get pretty crowded. Very competitive.
Interesting. Okay, so beyond the ports and the factories, there's this push into new tech, too. AI.
Yeah, this is where it gets really forward-looking strategically. The Odisha Artificial Intelligence Policy 2025, they're not just talking about AI, they want to embed it in governance.
How so? Like what kind of applications?
Think predictive monitoring for natural disasters, which is absolutely vital for a state like Odisha given its history, or using data and AI to make public services just, more efficient, more responsive.
And are they talking to tech companies about this?
Yeah, there have been talks mentioned with Google, Canary's automation, specifically about digital governance collaborations. It suggests they're serious about a real digital transformation, not just adopting tech superficially. And this tech push goes hand in hand with a clear pivot towards sustainability.
Moving beyond coal.
That seems to be the signal, diving into manufacturing renewable energy equipment, exploring green fuels. It's strategic positioning for a greener economic future, not just, ticking an environmental box.
And we can actually see signs of this, like the Blue Flag Beach.
Exactly. The beach at Puri, it's got that international certification for high environmental standards. It's a very visible symbol of this commitment to clean coasts.
And that specific beach is getting some high-profile attention soon, right?
It is. It's set to host the Indian Navy's operational demonstration on Navy Day, December 4th, 2024. And the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, will be the chief guest.
Wow. So it brings together the clean environment, naval power, and maritime heritage all in one place.
Precisely. It's a powerful convergence of themes.
Okay, speaking of heritage, while we're focused on ports and policy, we can't ignore the incredible cultural depth of Odisha.
Absolutely not. It's a state steeped in spirituality. You've got the massive Jagannath Puri Temple, the Lingaraj Temple in Bhubaneswar. These places draw millions of pilgrims every year.
There's a real spiritual vibe. You feel it even in the statistics. Over 93% Hindu population.
It runs deep. And those cultural connections, they're not just ancient history. We mentioned Balijatra, that amazing seafaring festival.
Right. And there's another one coming up, Parakram Diwas.
Yeah, Parakram Diwas 2025 in Cuttack, celebrating Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's legacy. These events are core to the state's identity and sort of weave into this whole revival narrative.
And this reverence extends to nature, too. Conservation seems big.
Very big. Look at Similpal National Park, just declared India's 107th national park back in April 2025. It's huge, 845 square kilometers, a vital haven for wildlife and conservation work.
And there was that story about the turtles.
The olive ridley turtles, yes. A real success story. At the Rushikulia River mouth, the Indian Coast Guard runs Operation Olivia every year to protect them during nesting.
And they protected a huge number this year.
Nearly 7 lakh turtles just in February 2025. It shows a serious commitment to preserving their unique biodiversity.
Which all feeds into tourism, presumably, culture, nature.
Exactly. They're wisely banking on this blend, the handlooms, the handicrafts, the biodiversity to boost the tourism sector. It's another key part of diversifying away from just industry.
And this outreach isn't just internal. They're building global bridges beyond investment, too.
Definitely. Singapore was the country partner for Utkarsh Odisha, and its president visited recently, solidifying those ties.
And others are interested.
We're seeing significant interest from Australia, Japan, the UAE. It really brightens the prospects for more international trade and collaboration. They are genuinely looking outwards.
Okay, so we've painted a picture of history, grand vision, investment, tech, culture. It sounds almost too good to be true. But let's get real. There must be significant hurdles.
Oh, absolutely. And the sources are quite frank about them. One of the most jarring is the backlog of court cases.
How bad is it?
We're talking over 19 lakh pending cases. And get this, nearly 16 lakh of those are criminal cases. Just clearing that is a monumental task.
How do they do anything about it?
Well, the law minister announced 5 fast-track courts back in May 2025, specifically for crimes against women with plans for more. But
The scale
is immense. You look at just one district, Crore, with over 2 lakh cases pending. It feels like trying to bail out the ocean with a teaspoon. It's a fundamental challenge to efficiency, rule of law.
Then there are issues that cross state lines, like that dam project.
Right, the Palavaram Dam, that's a complex one. Opposition parties within our RG, the BJD and Congress are seriously worried that raising the dam's height could flood potentially 200 villages in Malkangiri district.
So they're pushing back.
Very vocally, demanding protection for Odisha's interests, even raising it in meetings chaired by the PM. It just highlights how these big infrastructure projects can easily spill over into interstate conflict.
And then there's the ever-present threat, the weather.
You can never forget the cyclones in Odisha. Names like Yas, Titli, they bring back memories of serious devastation.
So they have gotten much better at handling them, haven't they? That zero casualty figure during Cyclone Dana?
Incredible achievement. Yes, their proactive measures are world-class now, but the threat itself, it's always there, lurking off the coast.
And the immediate forecast is wet.
Very. The southwest monsoon hit Kerala early this year, May 27th. Odisha is expecting its own early arrival around June 1st. As a core monsoon state, they're bracing for something like 1,150 millimeters of rain through September.
So all that new infrastructure, the ports, it needs to be built tough.
It absolutely does. It has to withstand serious weather.
And I did appreciate that these sources kind of acknowledge the implementation challenges with a knowing nod, like streamlining bureaucracy. Great idea. But
easier said than done, right? It takes time, sustained effort.
And managing billions in investment effectively.
Yeah.
Ensuring it doesn't just disappear.
That's a whole different layer of complexity. Accountability, deployment, it's huge.
And even integrating AI into government. It sounds cool, but the training, the change management, it's definitely a learning curve.
It is. It's about recognizing the scale of the ambition and the operational reality of tackling deeply entrenched issues and unpredictable external factors.
So, all right, we've covered a lot. History, plans, money, culture, challenges. Why should you, listening now, care about what's happening in Odisha?
Because honestly, this isn't just some local story. Odisha's journey is like a masterclass unfolding in real time. How do you take deep history, a dormant identity, and leverage it for future growth?
It's a fascinating case study, isn't it? Trying to achieve inclusive, sustainable, globally connected development, all while navigating tradition and very real obstacles.
Exactly. So whether you're maybe an investor looking for new markets that aren't the obvious ones,
Or maybe a tourist wanting culture and nature without the usual crowds.
or, maybe you just appreciate a good comeback story. Seeing a state perceived perhaps as an underdog, dreaming this big, making these bold moves on the global stage, there's something really compelling there.
It definitely sends a signal. Odisha isn't content just being, part of the background. It's actively trying to make waves.
Who knows? Maybe in a few years, booking a cruise out of Paradip might be a totally normal vacation plan.
Ultimately, this whole maritime revival thing, it feels like much more than just policy documents and economic charts. It's a bold bet on a brighter future.
Rooted in history, yeah, but powered by modern ambition. And they're actively inviting people to participate, investors, entrepreneurs, dreamers.
If you want to dig deeper yourself, where should you look?
Well, the state's official website likely has a lot of information. Or you could look into the discussions and outcomes from events like that Waves 2025 summit.
Or, for a more tangible connection, maybe plan a visit. Go see that Blue Flag Beach at Puri.
Yeah, you might even catch the Navy's op demo on Navy Day. Feel that maritime energy we've been talking about right there on the coast.
And maybe leave you with this thought to ponder. How does a state, any state really, balance that drive for rapid industrial growth, for economic transformation?
With the absolute need to preserve its unique culture, its deep history, and its fragile environment, especially when facing huge internal challenges like court backlogs and external ones like extreme weather.
It's a complex picture, isn't it? And Odisha's right there in the middle of painting it, stroke by careful stroke, on a very large, very old canvas.